Hi, welcome back from the desk below. Now, this is a very special episode now because I've always been saying that producers provide the soundscape for the artists. Therefore, they should be acknowledged the same way as the artist now. Because you have to think about it. No artist ever went platinum with an acapella before. And plus, they provide the beautiful soundscape for the artist to spit the wholehearted stories to for us to enjoy for generations to generations. Now, this album right here, I thought I would reach out to all the producers from this magnificent album that just got released last week. And man, like I said, these four producers right here, man, they created something that will probably live on through generations to generations. And we also have to give them the same props as we do as we would this main artist about this main album. Now, I would like to welcome back to the show. This guy's been on a roll since the last time I seen him. I'd like to welcome back my guy, Cartune Beatz.
Good, y'all. How y'all doing?
Chilling, bro. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
All right,
Going
now,
on, fellas? Everything
welcome
good?
back.
What's up, Jerm?
Don't worry, I'll introduce
Hello.
everyone that will be lit. All right, so yeah.
We all going around? Or you
Yeah,
gonna
we going
introduce
around.
No, I just introduce everybody singly. And then also I would like to introduce my guy, the Germ. How you been, my guy?
Chilling, bro. Shout out to Queens. Shout out to Bank. Shout out to all the producers that was involved. Shout out to V-Don.
Yes, sir. Shout out to V-Don. And I also like to introduce my guy, George Getson.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime, my guy. I love the name, by the way. We'll get to that after, though. And I also like to introduce my guy, Haas Almahdi. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that, but I could fix it.
You'll get used to it. So Haas Almahdi. But I'm grateful and blessed, man.
And now, welcome me back for this episode, man. My guy from Menu Melody, man. He's been showing nothing but love lately, man. Joining me for this special episode is my guy, Fade Reyes. You there,
Yo,
Fade?
what's going on, everybody? Just jumping in and hearing the story. I already tell this is a classic from the jump. We're here for the music, we're here for the love, and this is going to be a fun time discussing one of our favorite legends, Lloyd Banks, and his latest project. And honestly, as a journalist and as a fan, I want to thank each and every one of you for putting out something that gives me still something to listen to, because it's very hard to have a project that you could just listen to straight up or even be excited for nowadays. There's a certain kind of artist that we look for. So I want to say thank you to each and one of you who are part of this project.
Appreciate that.
Shout out
Appreciate
to
you.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for your support, bro.
Hell
Always,
Yes.
always.
Maybe that's a hard intro. I think you might have outdone mine, my guy. Shit.
But everything I do is from love, and honestly, man, I love this. So salute to y'all. Real talk.
All right,
Salute to
hey,
you.
all right, man. I appreciate you guys' time joining me on your evening now. I'd like to talk to you guys about each of your journey and how you guys got into producing. So we'll go around the table at first. So I'd like to start with the Germ. Now, the very first time I ever heard of you was I think in 2011 when you were on like the Cold Corner 2. And when I first see it, I think you produced the song Predator, and I always wanted to know why the name the Germ. It just stands right out.
Well, my government name is Jeremy. Everybody always call me Germ for short, so it just always stuck. So just the Germ.
Oh, okay.
Like it's really
Never
ain't no
know,
special
man.
meaning to it. You know what I mean? It's just a nickname that's just been with me all my life.
Now, everybody remembers the very first placement within the career. I was wondering, the very first time you got your first well-known placement on an album or a well-known street album.
The first record that I did was with Yayo, French Montana, and Max B. It was a record called Gang Life. It was from the SOD mixtape. So like that was the first major one that I did.
Damn, you got Max B for your first. Damn, you're free to wave. You're all free to wave.
Shout out to Max B, Free to Wave.
Now, coming into like your introduction to Lloyd Banks now too. Like, I was curious how you first got in touch with him for the Cold Corner 2.
Well, me and Banks were working before.
Okay, let's talk
Cold
about when
Corner
you
2.
first got into working with him.
Right. So like I was just telling you, like that first record that I had was with Yayo. You know, Dope Pesci's my cousin actually. So shout out to Dope Pesci. And me and we were taking care of Yayo's recording and some of his production as well. So we made our way to Banks, and we were pretty much doing the same. So pretty much all of the 5 and Better series, the Hunger for More 2, the Blue Friday series, everything that led into Cold Corner 2, me and Doe were taking care of. So, you know, I was around Banks for like 8 months to a year before I even gave him a beat. The first joint that I did with him was the record X-Men, that single that he had put out. And then I don't know, like a lot of people don't know that I did Fly in the Wind with Jim Jones. I did that record as well.
That's hard.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's my shit.
Yeah.
Nah, appreciate it.
Capo, yo, he appeared on the show. Yo, still Capo, you a good guy, man.
Facts, shout to Capo. So yeah, those are the first couple of joints that I did before Cold Corner 2. And that's how I got in contact with Banks.
Now, like, did you have to like work up the encouragement to like give him because you said you were around him for like, you know, the first 8 months. Like, I'm pretty sure like, you know, like you had to wait. It's like, man, I want to give him something, but like, you know, like it's all about timing. So like, did you have to like work it up to it? It's like, man, I think I'm gonna do something for him.
Like it was more like me making sure I was in the right production space, and then also like letting him get to know me. You know what I mean? Because I would record him here and there when I had to fill in for Doe if we was at his crib recording him and shit like that. So like once I felt like I had the right beat to give to him, then it was smooth. It was like a no-brainer. Plus Doe gave me the cosign. He was like, yo, trust me, he's gonna fuck with that one. And he did. That was the X-Men record. So I sent it to him. He hit me right back like, yo, I'm on this. The next day we pulled up to the crib, we recorded it, and then I think that same night or the next day we released it. So like as I didn't have to like build up no courage or nothing, but I just wanted to make sure that the production was right and that you know, like just that the beat was right.
Okay. Now, how was it like, you know, extending, like, you know, continuing your extended relationship with him? Because every time I look on his projects, you at least do a couple of beats. So how is it being like consistent, like, you know, with that, knowing that he knows who you actually are? Like, does he hit you up, or do you just be consistent? Like, I'm gonna keep sending him stuff.
It's a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Like we've built a good relationship over the years. That's definitely the homie. And you know, if he hasn't heard from me in a while, he'd be like, what's up? Like, you gotta send me a batch. You get what I'm saying? But like if I'm definitely in a zone, if I'm cooking and I know something's gonna fit him, then I'll send it his way. Or even if I just try and experiment with different ideas and different sounds, I'll definitely send it his way. Like there's been a few beats that he's picked that not that I didn't think that he would do them, but it was just like, oh, word? All right, cool, bet. Let's see what you're gonna do with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because sometimes you just never know what they can gravitate to.
Right. I think Pain and Variety, right? When I made that beat, we were in the crib and we was listening to beats, and I was just like skipping through beats, and then he was like, hold up, what was that? Go back. Like it was like literally like 3 seconds of the beat playing, and then he was like, hold up, go back to that one. So he ended up picking that shit, which I was actually kind of happy that he picked, because that was like one of my favorite beats at the time.
Now, like even like with production now too, like I'm pretty sure you sent beats that like he recorded over and never came out now too. Like how hard is it to know like you have like unreleased songs of someone, but like only you can hear? Like, is it hard like not to be like, you know, let me go on IG Live and make this?
I mean, like,
preview.
I mean, like, I think that when you have the relationship, with the artist and you have a mutual respect, you don't want to do anything to like tarnish your name, their name, your reputation, or anything like that. So, you know, it's a mutual respect thing. Like we've got records.
Well, I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure you guys got lots of them.
Crazy records, crazy features. Like, trust me, like a lot of like the original Gangsta Grillz tape that was supposed to be like more of like the down south type shit.
Oh yeah, he's mentioned that. Yeah, and he scrapped it.
You know, like I wish it would have came out because he was Like it was fire. It was really, really fire. Like it was definitely at that time just to be doing down south shit with a New York flavor, because we wasn't really trying to do anything down south. We was really like doing our own thing. That would have been like something special, in my opinion, for the town and for the sound. You know, I think it would have changed gears with a lot of things that were going on. But you know, like I was saying before, you know, I just think that it's a respect thing, and it's professional. You know what I mean? Like you don't, you'll get looked at some type of way, so it's not even worth it to do that, in my opinion.
George Getson, man. Yo, I love the name, by the way. I just gotta ask, is that your government name?
Nah, my first name is George. I came up with Jetson like from the cartoon. It was inspired by the cartoon, but I kind of wanted my name to be like I wanted it to mean like, you know, the future. You know, in the cartoon, it's, you know, the Jetsons based on the future and everything. So I wanted to be the future of, you know, music and, you know, just creativity overall. So that's how I came up with my name.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say, because the first time I seen Getson, like I wonder if that's a play on the Jetsons.
Yeah, and I just spelled it with a G just to make it, you know, more unique, more meaning, you know.
Yeah, because you want to like also stand out too. You just want to just straight rip off the name. It's like, yeah, I'm just put Jetson. Yeah, no, I understand.
Right, exactly.
So, when I did my research on you, like, because you can only find so much on Discogs and RachelMusic.com. That's why I wish there was a site that actually showed every production, like even from mixtapes and everything. So I was curious. The first time I came across you, I remember this is when the GUnit reunion was happening, and I remember I was hyped up. Buck was back, you know, it was lit. No game. I don't know why Kid was in the picture, but we'll talk about that after. But you actually did. They talked about Jesus, if I'm correct.
Yeah, back in 2014. Yeah.
Now, was that your first time, like your interaction with like somebody like the unit and Banks?
Yeah, that was my first time. Like back then, I sent out like at least like 20 beats for Banks, and then when they finally reached back out to me, they told me it was somebody from the label that told me that the whole unit hopped on the record. And I was like, oh wow, because it was originally for Banks. So when they did that track and they dropped it, I was just excited. I'm like, wow, this is like one of my favorite, you know, hip hop groups like of all time, you know. So
Oh yeah,
it was definitely, you know, an honor to definitely, you know, have that record, and especially for them reuniting back then too. It was dope.
now like, did you produce like was that the only track that you did for the unit, or did you did like a couple of because they did a lot of singles they never put out like actually like they did it now, but like before they never put them out on stream until after because it wasn't that big yet.
Yeah, that song, it came out for promotional use. It wasn't on no streaming platforms or anything. So for Banks album, for the Pieces of My Pain album, this like my first actual album placement.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah, so I was really excited for that, and you know, just feel blessed for that.
well, even like producing the intro track now too also sets the tone for the album now too because like it's gonna take you like it's gonna suck you right in from the start now too. But like it's just something about that man's intros. Like every intro, it just like yo, like I loved Impact, I love Ain't No Click, I loved like. So with this one now too, when you like actually sent it now too, I was curious now too. Like, how did you get in touch with him? Like, did you like see like something on Twitter? Because like Cartoon shared an inspiring story on his last interview and how he got in touch. So I was curious on how did you land these two placements? Sorry, is it 4 placements?
I got two placements from the album. I produced Pieces of My Pain, and I did movie scenes on the album.
Okay, yeah. So how did you land those two placements?
Yeah. Well, actually, last summer I ran into Banks. I was shopping somewhere, and we ended up in the same spot. So when I seen him, I just, you know, I spoke to him, introduced myself. I'm like, you know, I did your record, you know, back in 2014, because we knew of each other, but we never met. So when I seen him, you know, I spoke to him, and he was like, oh yeah. So then, you know, we exchanged contacts, and the rest is history. From there, I just started sending beats, and we locked in.
All right, okay. Now I also now too like I also checked out your album Genius now too. Is that with Worklife? Is that your production company?
Yeah, work life. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I recorded that album back in 2016. Cause so I write music on the side. I songwrite and I make beats. I engineer, mix and master, and all that stuff. So it was an album that I did where a lot of people that was close to me said like, yo, you should do your own solo album, because I used to be like in a rap group, you know, back then. So and I made all the beats and hopped on songs with people. So that was the first time I did like a solo project, like just solely me, just, you know, my verses and all my beats and everything. So the reception was really good. Like it's it was well received, and one of my favorite projects that I did actually. So yeah.
I never knew it was 2016. Damn, that aged really good. I got a friend.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Anytime. Now, my guy Fade. So, like I said, so we'll introduce Haas, and then we'll get into the album. And you'll Fade. Anything you want to ask, right off me, yo, don't be afraid, my guy. And then welcome in a guy for this guy, man. I'm sorry I butchered your name in the beginning, my guy.
You're good. You're good.
The guy got 4 placements on this, man. I like to introduce my guy Haas. How you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. Just working. You know what I mean? Just getting where I need to get to reach my goal. So.
All right, that's good. Now, I was gonna say, could you guys pronounce the full producer name for the fans to hear again?
Yeah. So it's Haas Almahdi. So Almahdi is an Arabic name. So I was raised as a Muslim, so I kept the Almahdi part. But my full name is Hassan, but my family members call me Haas for short. So Haas Almahdi just led to that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So how y'all like have something like personal with your production names now too. So like Cartoon loves cartoons, Jerm, Jeremy, George, George. So it makes sense now too. And it's just like it's kind of crazy, like the production that how everyone produced for this album now too came out magnificent now too. So I was curious now too. I try to do my research on you, but it's hard to find stuff about you, my guy. So what's your first placement, yo? I'm just gonna get it out on this platform, yo. What was your first big placement?
First one was with Benny the Butcher. So he was doing a mixtape, and this it was called like Hookah Rap Volume 3. So I was working with this artist. Benny hit up this artist. He was like, "Yo, I fuck with you." So me and this artist, I gave him a beat. We worked together, and we sent it to him, and they got on a mixtape. So it was on Dat Piff and all that. And then I built a relationship with him. This is before he even got signed to Def Jam and all that other stuff. So then I got some other like mixtapes with his old crew, like Conway, but it's not there. It's not on on the platform. So it's like when they first was beginning to become what they are. So yeah, that's what led to that. But the first major is the one I had with me and Jared Swift with the BSF family, the St. Maurice. Yeah, so that was the first one. So I did the loop, so I make my own loops and stuff. So I don't sample, but so I hit JR and I was like, "Yo, I got a crazy like sample pack I'm gonna send to you." He's like, "Yo, throw it over," and then he made that in like 1 week, and he told me literally in 2 weeks, so we got a placement with BSF. I was like, "Oh shit!" So that led to that. So that was a good play. He helped me out with that on there. But the first like album placement is this right here with Lloyd Banks. Like this is the first like album placement. And even though BSF they're gonna release an album this year, so I won't be on their album as well because they released that song as a single, like St. Maurice. So I think it's coming out at the end of the year of 2023.
Kind of crazy how it's come like full circle. Like you produced for them like early on. Like this was Benny like still with like Trust back then? Because I remember he was with Spesh for a bit.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like he was more open minded to like new producers and stuff. I mean, obviously he had his own clique, but he was just like, yeah, I fuck with this guy. So like we just built a relationship from there. Got our phone number. I started loading up with beats and stuff. So. We have a relationship, but he has like a plan of what he wants to do on the albums and all this other stuff. But I got like at least 2 or 3 on the BSF when the album come out. So like I'm locked in with a few of those people.
Okay, shout to BSF, free duffel, y'all. So I like to get into this album now too. We'll go into like how the songs are produced, and we'll actually each one of you a question about this now too. Faye, like I said, don't be afraid to add off if anything I go in. So we're gonna start with track 1, Pieces of My Pain. Like I said before, man, when this guy does his intros, man, it's something that you can always just go back. It's like this is gonna set the tone for the album now too. Being that this is his most personal album now too. George, did you know like you were aiming for the intro track? Like did you I'm gonna get the intro?
Your mic is muted.
But yeah, my fault, y'all. But yeah, honestly, not at all. I ain't expected to be the intro track. I made that beat. I was just sitting there going through some sounds. I started playing the piano, the keys, and everything. And I just felt like I'm like, I could hear Banks all over this. And I set the tune like right away. As soon as I set the tune, he hit me back and he's like, "Yo, save this for the album." I'm like, "All right, say no more." But I didn't think it'll be the intro.
Oh, so he didn't tell you at first? Did you found out like everybody else? I'm guessing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what was that feeling like knowing because pretty sure when they released the first track list and just showed the features, I was like, so where's the production credits, y'all? So and then he released it after y'all. So when you first seen that you made like the intro, like did you go celebrate? Did you smoke? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was actually out. I was driving somewhere and my phone just started blowing up like out of nowhere. Everybody's like, "Yo, George, you did the intro on Banks." I'm like, "Well, I did." And I went on Instagram and I saw that everybody else. I'm like, "Oh shit, wow!" I'm like, "I can't wait to hear this." You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy because I knew what beats that he used for the album. So when I knew it was the other record, I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's that beat." For the intros. I'm like, "I can't wait to hear this." And man, I was blown away.
Now, with the two songs that you did on this album now too, like I always like to hear stories about when a producer how Swizz produced I forget that song he has like Buster Ghost, but he produced that on a plane. Now, when you made movie scores and Pieces of My Pain, were you in like an unusual setting? Maybe like in the car, or were you just in the studio? I was just curious about something like that.
I was in my house on the couch. It's probably like 3, 4 in the morning because that's like the best time for me where I could sit up and just let my creativity just flow. This is one of those type of nights of sitting up real late and just making beats, and that was pretty much it. I was just sitting on my couch, TV off, lights low, that type of thing.
The creator hours, I like to call those hours, from 12 to 12 a.m., 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's me. That's why I'm always up, definitely.
All right, Fred, you got anything to ask George, my guy?
Is there a small percentage in you that still wants to do solo music, that you want to take some time and really focus on your craft and dive it into yourself as an artist?
Well, actually, like overall, I just like to create overall. You know what I'm saying? So like, as far as like production, like I'm more focused on that right now. Just making beats. That's something that I always did, like from young. Then I started learning how to write songs like later on after that. So I actually started off DJing at first. I started off DJing, and then when I first started making beats, I had the MPC 2000, but I didn't have any sound, so like I used to like do stuff where like I took a microphone, knock on the door to make my kick. I'll clap my hand and record the clap and everything. And I made beats like that. So then when I finally got a computer, I started learning everything myself and just start crafting and putting stuff together. So I had more fun and more passion for producing, and songwriting is just I would say it's secondary for me. But like when I did my first album, it was something that everybody always wanted to see me do, being that, I do, I write, I make beats and all that stuff. So I did it, and it was well received, but I definitely want to be, focused on production, like making beats.
That's awesome, man. And just the fact that you got to witness your success as your track being the intro off the rip, kind of like how we did, that's a big shocker, and that's a big, congrats to you, man. Yo, I'm very proud that you got that. Not many people are gonna be able to be like, I had an intro track to a Banks song, or excuse me, I had an intro song to a Banks album.
Yeah. Facts. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No doubt, my.
Now we got Haas got like 4 joints on this, man. He also got the Red Alert with 38 Special and yo. But the one that I keep going back to is Keys to Success. I love that. The flow, just like even the melody on the song now too. Like, so I was curious now too. Even with that, like, so when producers send beat packs, they usually set like the title, the name of the song. So when you made Onyx AMG, was that the title of the beat that when you sent it to? Because like when I first seen that, I was like, so where the hell's the Onyx feature?
No, it was definitely not the title. Me and him did not have the same title. I think the original title was like Destined to Be or something like that, like Destined for Truth or some cheesy name. But that's how I felt at the time. But I made that beat when I was in Atlanta. Because I tend to go to there's a publisher company called Winter Circle Publishing, so I go to this studio and start cooking up there and stuff. And so I made that beat there, and I was like, I could hear him on this one, killing it. So like I made the whole loop, the sound, the drums, and all that. And then yeah, I literally give him like I don't know, like 5 beats a week, like just send 5 beats to him, 5 beats to him, and then whatever the titles I make it just based on how I feel at the moment, and then title the BPM and whatnot, but. Yeah, when I saw the Onyx AMG, because I was like, what beat is that? And I was like, oh yeah, I know this beat. You know what I mean? So it was fire, though. It was amazing feeling. Definitely amazing feeling, man.
Now, knowing that you have one of the songs on there with one of the few guest parts now too, like, did you know like Spesh and Yayo were gonna appear on Red Alert?
I had no idea. That took me for a shock. Kind of like what Jetson said. Like I was with my family. I was with my daughter, and my phone blowing up the same thing. Yo, Haas, yo. I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking. I'm like, oh snap! Like I see the track list, and everybody's like, yo, look at the features. And I was like, it's crazy because I hit up 38 Spesh like 2 years ago. So now he answered my DM after that album came out. It's funny because I didn't see it back then. But yeah, I've been trying to work it for the longest, so it just came like full circle. You know what I mean? Yayo, same thing, full circle. So it just like, what if there's a closed door, there's always another one opening. That's how I see it. Just keep pushing until it'll happen. And I'm big into manifestation, man. So like if I manifest something, it's always happening. Always happens for me. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Definitely agree. Like, but so I have to ask this too, because when I first seen the track Red Alert, I'm like, there's gonna be shots at the game on this, but when we listen to it, there's no shots at the game because we all know that history, yo. Did you see when you see like the first anyone seen that when you seen like Red Alert when they first seen the title?
I mean that album was fire. Don't get me wrong, that game album that was fire, but it did correlate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not bugging.
Last album, but yeah, what we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a very inspiring story now too, because like I said, manifestation goes a long way now too. So Vidon produced, Cliffhanger and the main single 101 Razors. Yo, Vidon, if you see this, man, we appreciate you, man. Yo, sorry you couldn't be here though, but we're still gonna give you your credit, my guy, because you got the meth feature on there.
The way you described it is you were very hungry. And this kind of just came to a surprise. And again, I feel like, there's a lot to learn about your background even before this placement. And it would just be dope to really dive into just learning a bit more of you as an artist. As Lo said earlier, he couldn't find much. So same thing, and that's no disrespect. That's as respectful as I want to bring it. But
right.
It would be dope to learn about your the real trajectory, even before the Benny, the Benny joints and working with Spesh. So
I could break it down. I'll do like a bio of myself. So like my dad was big into music and he was a rapper. And then he knew a lot of famous people at the time, but he kind of quit his career because of having kids and whatnot. So when I was 16, I think my pops bought a Roland Phantom X8, and he was like, figure out what to do with this. So I fell in love with the whole drum pads, the keys, playing around with it. And then my dad was big into Primo, Rakim. So whatever he listened to, I listened to. So I try to emulate those guys. And so I was doing that for 3 years. I mastered that keyboard. I still have it to this day. I mastered that keyboard. Then after that, I was like, let me get into some, beat battle, producer showcases. So I went to 3. But the biggest one was the high standard one. They used to have that back in the day. I went. It was in New York, so I went over there. I was the only one from Connecticut. By the way, I'm from Connecticut, so New Haven over there. Everybody from New York, Long Island, you name it, they all bigging up. Everybody got there. Everybody crowding up. But I won. I won that shit. They're like, yo, I never heard somebody from Connecticut that sounds like they got that New York boom bap type sound. And like the judges, like one of my favorite dudes is Ill Mind. He happened to be a guest judge appearance on there, and he gave me like a big salute, a lot of advice, and he was like, just keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? Don't give up. Blah blah blah. So I kept that in mind, and then yeah, I started doing other showcases like in Atlanta and stuff like that. Just trying to like build relationships. You know what I mean? Like get to know people. But as a producer, you're kind of like you want to be in the background, the shadows. That's how it used to be back in the day. You don't really want to show your face in front of the camera. So, you know, like every other producer, you just cooking up and then try to send it off. So once I got to that point, I was like, I got an invitation from Winter Circle for a producer showcase too. So I went over there and they like taught me everything about the music business, you know, how to promote, how to brand yourself, how to get your face seen, you know, again, having a face card, a calling card. They told me the whole thing. So that like rewrapped my whole mind around, you know what I mean? So then I was like, you know what? Let me just show videos of myself making beats. So I literally do like an ad on IG and show myself making beats, boom bap, wherever it is, neo soul. And then it start going through the roof. And then basically the way I got that play with Lloyd Banks, Dope Pesci hit me up. He was like, bro, your videos is crazy. Those beats is like nuts, bro, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's no way it's Dope Pesci. There's no way it's him, bro. So I'm checking. I'm like, oh, it is him. Oh, snap. So I'm like, yo, I appreciate it. He's like, yo, I can hear you. Like, I can hear Banks on your shit. So he was like, just load me up. So I loaded him up. And then like he sent me like a screenshot of like, because when you send a beat, it'll show like the name of the song, the BPM, and then the name of the producer. So he sent it to Banks, and Banks was like, yo, this shit's out on earth. What happened to you, dog? Like, this shit's crazy. He goes, nah, it's this dude named Haas, bro. Like, he's crazy. So after that was over, like I hit up Banks, I DM'd him, and he didn't hit me up in like until like a week. And he was like, yo, we gotta lock in, let's make history, this, that, and the third. And he said, load me up. And that's all I kept doing, just loading until it happened. You know what I mean? Like consistency, man. Just consistency and branding is what got me there, period. Like if I just didn't show myself and it was just a picture of me eating spaghetti, making beats, like he wouldn't have took me, you know, serious, let's be honest. You know what I mean? It's all about branding and showing your face. So that's what I'm doing now. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, Haas. I appreciate that. I always love to get an insight of a producer because they're definitely, well, not they, yourself and everybody else, but you're the curator. So it's kind of cool to get inside the mind and just, know the backstory, especially with beats. You know what I mean? Because if you're a producer who's making a certain kind of sound, like, sometimes for some producers, it's hard to break out that box kind of thing. So, I mean, it's cool that you started at a very young age, which means you got to really, really mess around with things. You really got to develop that sound, and now you could see it, and I'm glad. As I said before to the other fellas, congrats on this placement. Well,
Appreciate
your multiple placements, and this is only a launching pad because it seems like you're just consistently growing. Everything is just step by step. So salute, man.
Appreciate it.
Now, before we get into, I was just thinking about this. I'm like, the guy Cartune got most of the production, so we're gonna save you for last. Yo, the Jerm, man. Like, man, I really wanted to get you on here, man, because like, no offense to everybody else here, I love all the songs now too. We just sometimes when you hear a certain production and a song, it hits you like, because I don't have kids, but like I said, I do know the significance of Daddy's Little Girl. But for somebody who doesn't have kids, so when I heard Showers, man, like, I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, I almost shed a tear because, like, we never got like such a personal Banks album before now, too. Like, knowing your history with Banks, Germ, now, too. Like, how was it having like the one standout track on this album that would mean a lot to like people like me and other people out there like who could actually feel like those lyrics hard, and it just the soundscape is just like it's like you made that exactly for that like moment. So I was curious, like, how was that?
Nah, it was dope. I've been doing like the boom bap thing for a long time, and like I'm never gonna like move away from it, but I definitely try to move towards emotional, thought-provoking, just emotional driven stuff in these days. So, you know, I'm just trying to get outside the box with a lot of production. But yeah, well, like when I first made that, I sent it to Banks, and I was just like, it just felt right because, you know, working with him over the years, I just love when he does soulful records.
Yeah.
He hasn't done one of those in a little while. So when I sent it to him, he was like, "Oh, nah, we got to hold off on this one because this is special." Like we weren't even necessarily sure that it was gonna go on this tape. We was thinking about maybe about holding off on it, because we had a couple other records that were possibly gonna go on this one, but yeah, like if you could, like, you know, I've said this in interviews a couple of times, but you know, like my aim is never really to have you nodding your head. Like I think that we could all, whether it's a break beat or just creating your own loop, like getting somebody to nod their head is the easy part. Like feeling it in your chest and like giving people the chills. Like that's what I really aim for. Like really something that you're gonna remember. Like I really aim on creating moments with my production. So I'm actually glad that the record ends up being like a standout record, and I'm proud of it. And I thank Banks for even like for using that joint, because like I could hear it on him. I would want to hear it on him, but like you said, like we don't get a lot of those records. And even with Banks and a lot of artists that I work with, I'm always pushing for them to like go deeper than what we know, because you know that's what people want to relate to. You know what I mean? You know, like they want to be able to know that, oh, I could see this. It's good to know this person has depth to them. You know what I mean?
Not just like we on fire, hands up. Like we actually get more insight of like who that person actually is. But it's rare we get something like that now too. Because like I don't know what's with artists like I understand everybody wants a private life now too. But like having like a most personal album like this can really help a lot of people who grew up with like them throughout the years. Because I'm pretty sure we all grew up with like the shady aftermath GUnit, like you know that was like all generation second death row. I say it all the time.
Right.
So with like showers now too, like I was curious now too, because sometimes when an artist sends, I was sure when a producer sends an artist production, they'll hold off on it, like you said. So like, did you initially send this like during COTI 1, 2, or did you send this for like particularly like the third install?
It was after COTI 2. I just don't remember when. I know we had the record for a little while. It might have been like maybe like 3 months, 2 months, something like that before the release. But like I said, like I don't know, I don't know that it was gonna go on here.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Like, so did they send it back so you can actually hear it, or like did you hear it like with the rest of the album now too? Because I'm not a producer, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, he'll send me records sometimes. Sometimes I won't get anything, and then I'll like pull up on him in the studio, or like if we end up linking anywhere else, he'll like play me some shit. So, you know, it depends. But most of the time I'll try to put pressure on him, like, yo, send me that joint, bro. It's like, all right, bro, like I waited long enough. What's going on? I gotta hear this.
What was your reaction when you heard your standout track "Showers" on when you first heard it, like before anyone?
I was excited, man. I was excited that again, like that he was going deeper with the storytelling, just like letting people inside to his life and his thought process. You know, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day where you know, it's one of my homies. He's a Banks fan, and you know, he's younger than me. So like I don't know what grade he said he was in when Banks came out. Anyway, he was young, and he said to be able to listen to Banks now, to hear records like Showers and Daddy's Little Girl, to like just go through the growth with him. Like he was like, yo, I don't even have kids and I shed tears for those records, because like just to like hear where this nigga, what he grew into, like I felt like I grew with him. You know what I mean? So like I feel like those type of records, especially to his core fans, are gonna like be standout records, because like it's like it's like your homie, really. You know what I mean? You get to see your homie like break out of his shell be a real individual, talk about real shit. You know what I mean? Not a lot of artists do that.
Very true. Because like I always like to say, like I really wish an artist would have an album like Royce 5'9's Book of Ride, where you get so in depth with it. Like, could you just like that's what I wish. Or at least one artist in their discography have at least one album like that. It doesn't have to be the debut, but at least one. That's what I think what we got with like Pieces of My Pain. So yo, once again, the Jerm, yo, all right, thank you for that record, man. That really means.
Much love, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Fade, you anything you want to ask the Jerm?
It's just amazing that you have a producer that is specifically looking to bring out the best out of an artist and try to get the most creative side from them. So it's really interesting to hear that you challenge artists that you work with to dig deeper and to really have a meaning. And in hip hop, you really have to have a balance because you got to be very careful with trying to be thought provoking because you can get labeled as somebody that's trying to make certain kind of, let's just say it, that self-destruction kind of music. You know, we are the world, let's end drugs on the streets kind of music. But you know, I think you have a great balance with how you do it. You know what I mean? And
I appreciate that.
Rappers are lucky to have producers like you out there, man. So congratulations on all your success coming forward, because I see it coming for you, man. And you mentioned breaking out the box. You know, those two things right there, being thought provocative, and wanting to break out boxes, you're gonna reach some heights that not even yourself could see right now.
Right. Much respect, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, my guy Cartune, man, this guy got like ever since the first time I heard of this gentleman, man, I had to reach out last year. I was like, yo, you gotta come in here and I gotta know more about you. So ever since then, man, you know, I got to know more of him. And just to see his growth as a producer now, too, like, you know, if you guys want to know his real in-depth story and how Lex Luger produced him, go back and run those numbers up. But Cartune, man, so man, you know, I gotta ask you got 7 beats on this album again, man. You're like the Dr. Dre with Banks right now, man. So I gotta ask you, with this album now too being out now, being the third installment of COTI, did you know it was gonna be like a very personal album for him when you sent these production beats to him?
I didn't know. I know he was working on a more personal album. I didn't know it was gonna be COTI. He actually ended up kind of like he told me he's working on like a personal album. He said this a while. This was like almost right after COTI 2, but he wasn't saying that he was gonna release like a COTI 3 or the album. He was just like, I got like records that that I want to make more personal. I know there was some that he had already or ideas he had already, but he said it's like he said Pieces of My Pain. At this point, I didn't know it was like COTI. So I was just like, if that's the next thing that he's working on, that's what I'll start, gearing my production towards and sending. So that's when I kind of switched up because I send him a lot of stuff. I send like your typical grimy type of beats and things like that. So I started sending him more like, kind of like thought like soul pain type of beats. And I just kind of got on a roll with that. So it did help that he gave, some direction because, he could like, Germ could probably tell you, I don't know, like he and Germ has a different relationship. He's known him longer. Sometimes it can be vague, but that's not even just with him. That's with other artists because they're not sure what direction they want to go in yet. So, like I like to try to ask, like, oh, what do you like? So what's your next project gonna be like? Is it gonna be like, you want mostly grimy? I always try to ask before I send. If they don't, if they don't really let me know, then I'll just kind of send and try to send a variety. But it helps to kind of have an idea of what they're working towards, so you can kind of put yourself in that creative space too.
Well, it's very understandable now too, because it gives you like the sense of direction of what to send now, and also it sets the mood now too. So because like we always wanted something like this personal album where he actually goes in depth to his life now too, and like the song, like I notice his voices, Invincible. We'll get to the very special one in a minute though, but when you hear like sounds like Voices and Invincible, like now too. Like those are records that could bring somebody to tears. Like it's like how music should be made. So when you actually hear these records now too, like does it hit you the same way as it hits other people now too when you hear it for the first time?
Definitely. It's like I don't know. It's a crazy tie right now between actually Daddy's Little Girl and Voices. Like, but Voices is my favorite. It's like one like that's like one of my favorite kind of like pain beats I made. But I think like as time goes on, if you listen to Voices and everything that he's saying and like the meaning of it, I think it's really gonna resonate with people like what he's talking about and exactly how personal, that record really is. Because and that's why he's like one of my favorite like rappers because you could go back and listen to like one line he said and you could find like three different ways that he meant it and what he was trying to say. Um, so for me, like Voices was my favorite, and like yeah, when I heard that too, like that, like that made like that brings out like emotions too, or like when you really listen to what like he's talking about because there's points in a song where everybody can relate in their own way. And it might not be the same situations, but they find situations that are similar that bring them to that moment. And that's what makes like kind of like what Jerm was saying, that's what makes music powerful. And that's always the kind of music that I wanted to personally make. Like I love like, I could do like the boom bap, the grimy and stuff, but the music that people listen to like on their worst day or to help them get through stuff like I always wanted to be a part of that because that's the music that I remember, the most as a listener myself. So that's like that's the perspective that I have when making stuff like that.
Now, like with so does everybody here have kids? I was just curious before we get into this. Sorry.
Yeah, I got two, a boy and a girl.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Got a little man.
Yeah, I'm a father as well. Yep.
All
I
right.
got him.
I'm the only one here without kids, man. So like for the like with this album now too, like we all know the relationship with your child now too is something very, very important now too. And if their parent is an artist within this industry now too, it's very rare we get something dedicated because they'll be like, I'd like to dedicate this album to my baby girl. But to get an actual song dedicated to something so personal that because like we never seen Banks with kids before. We're used to just him seeing like, him by himself or, with the girls. But as you grow older, you start having different morals in life. And when he has kids, like this one blew me away. It kind of gave me Eminem Mockingbird vibes because how he dedicated that to his daughter. And I remember he was saying he wanted a hit, but not something like a club hit. He wanted something that was very heartfelt. So Cartune, like knowing how you have a baby girl now too, what was your reaction when you made this piece? And what was your reaction when you got it back?
Oh, when I made it, um, I think the beat title was called "Speak." What's crazy? It was called. I named it "Speak My Peace." But like when I made the record, I made it to where like when I make beats, I kind of in like I don't rap or nothing like that, but like in my head, I guess in a sense, I kind of rap and I kind of envision how I would like if I was a rapper, how I would make this song sound. It helps me to be like more creative with my names. Um, so when I made that, I named it like "Speak My Peace," and it gave me the vibe of like somebody talking about like kind of like either something like triumphant, like getting through something, but that was the vibe I got when I made it. Now when I heard it, um, it definitely caught me off guard. Like especially and like the way that he progressed like the album too, where it was like at the beginning it's a little bit more gritty and grimy, and then at the end it's just like the emotional punches and that was one of the ones like right in the middle where it was like when I first heard it, like I was like just blown away because again, like you said, like some people they make songs where they dedicate it they might try to dedicate it to their daughter or things like that, or some people are just more personal in general on social media, so you get to see that side. But even with like the theme of the whole second half of this album, even with like showers, like he talks about, like a lot of stuff too. The fact that one for me, because I've grew up listening to Banks, just to hear him, get that personal, and then to make the record about like like his daughter, it was crazy. And just listening to what he was saying, like you can tell by listening to that, like the lyrics, it wasn't like generic. Like that was like it was like it was real because a lot of people can say like I'm gonna write a song about like my daughter. You could make it generic, but from everything that he was saying, it sounded like real. And I guess it hit me too because obviously I have a 2-year-old daughter myself, and I could just like relate to it, and my eyes was watering and everything. Like I had to like pause it, take a second, then I had to start it over. um, but it was crazy, and I honestly it meant a lot to me because one, because I have a daughter, but also because like I knew the record would be powerful because it's coming from Lloyd Banks. It's not coming from somebody that's like like every now and then making you kind of like super lovey-dovey cheesy record. Like he's kind of closed off, and a lot of his music is like grimy and gritty. So to hear him to sound like that, like on the record, it was like it was a good moment, I think, for the album, and I think it just like hip hop in general. And I think when people look back at the album as a whole, like the whole from him kind of starting it off, just proving that he could rap, to getting like more personal and emotional records. I think that we're all a part of something like very, very special that I think that we probably don't even realize and get grasp right now. But as time goes on, like we all will, be a part of something great, and we already are.
Yeah, because it's like what you said. Like we just sometimes never get that side, and because like I said, he's a Barry Smith, sorry. So like we don't expect that type of thing. Like, even like with the intro, Delightful Intentions now too. One thing that I like about how artists like give you like features for guest production, like bro, like this guy got Omega, like that's Queens Get the Money right there. So like, and plus the outro too is also, I noticed too, on an artist album, the outro always sets the tone of how it's gonna go out, and it's usually like the most like quotable lyrics within that last song, I noticed. So when you got the Mega feature, like, did you know Mega was gonna be on this?
I actually did because I have my own relationship with Mega. So because I got in touch with him. I think it was a little bit after COTI 2 because he was giving it like such high praise and stuff, and I think he realized that I produced some, so I reached out to him. But when Banks sent him like the record, he did the record. He recorded his verse, and Mega was super hyped. He was like, "Yo, I love this record. This is a dope record." And he ended up sending it to me, and then that's when I heard it. So like I only heard the first verse from Banks and then Mega's verse, and then afterwards Banks added like a third verse. So when I listened to the album, hearing Banks' second verse was my first time hearing it. But I thought it was dope to get the Mega feature because he was somebody that I was already like reaching out to try to work with, and then it was like a full circle moment. That it was one of my records that he sent to Mega for that feature. So I thought that was definitely dope.
With you guys, I have just some questions for everybody now too. With this album being out for a week now too, do you guys are you guys gonna get this album on vinyl and frame it? Like you guys, or because this is what I'm curious about producers. When an album comes out and it's from an artist you really respect, are you gonna go and get like the CD or like the vinyl and like put it up on your wall? Just be like, I was a part of something like this. That's for all y'all to answer.
I'm leaving. My bad, Cartune. My bad. I'm leaving room on the wall for the plaque because I know Cartune deserved it a couple times. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, Cartune. I just want to say that.
Nah, I was gonna say all of y'all clear some room because you gonna want that plaque too. But I did it for COTI 1. I ordered the vinyl. I don't remember if I ordered for COTI 2. For COTI 3, for this one, I think I might order the vinyl and just keep it. Just might be something like you never open, but again, I think it's easy. I notice it's easy as a producer, especially like all of us, to kind of you get caught up in working and just figuring out like the next move, and then it doesn't really register like that, like what you're a part of probably until like later. And I know it's at least like that with me. It's just kind of like, all right, bet, like I got these placements. All right, this is dope. Hope it does well. Got to keep it going. But as time goes on, and it's kind of like other people kind of bring you to that realization, like, yo, y'all just like that's Lloyd Banks, and y'all just did like a crazy album for him that there's even some people saying it's like his best album. So I got to remind myself, I'm gonna remind the other producers here that celebrate yourself, and it's a big accomplishment, and it is special, especially like Jerm knows for like his core fan base. His fan base is crazy, first of all. But for them to feel the way that they feel about the album, it is special. So if you get a vinyl, keep it just for you. One day, this is this is gonna be like history, and you're a part of it. And also like Jerm said, keep some wall space for a plaque, because all that stuff is important. I learned early on when I first started that you don't know how long any type of success on any level is gonna last. So you celebrate it while you have it. I know I've heard of like producers that they'll get like a plaque or something. They'll be like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna get it, or I'm not too worried about it." But especially how fast the industry is growing, there's new producers every day. If you accomplish something, celebrate it and treat it as important as it really is. You might not realize how important it is, but it's definitely important. So that's my advice to all y'all. Get yourself a little vinyl and definitely get that plaque when that comes in.
I would say for me, definitely. Who's talking? Justin?
I think he was just agreeing.
Oh, you're agreeing?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
No, I wanted to say too, like it's the same thing. Like it still hasn't hit me yet. So like I'm already like, all right, what's my next move? My next move, and it's like my wife is like, you need to have gratitude, be happy. You know what I mean? Like enjoy the moment, like bask in it, like really just analyze what you just did. You know what I mean? So because I'm always like going, and like the same thing, I'm waiting for the Billboard plaque too to put on my wall because like I'm managed on the winner's circle, so all these guys got #1 Billboard plaques. So my manager is like, you know what, you need to get a #1. You need to get #1. I'm like, I don't care what the number is. That's a level where it's a global thing. That's a global accomplishment. Not everyone can get that, regardless of what number it is, 99, 200, whatever it is. Like not everyone has that. Just the fact you in there, that's beyond the music business. That's pro level. You know what I mean? So like I have gratitude for wherever I'm at and whatever happens in my future. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with you, Cartune, and Jerm too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
George and Jerm, anything you guys want to add on?
Yeah, I got my space on my wall already. I'm waiting. Just waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? This my baby right here. Like I said, it's my first big one. So, I'm excited. I'm just excited for, more that may be in store. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Yeah, no, definitely I agree with Cartoon was saying. I haven't got the vinyl for COTI 2, so I plan on getting that one, and I'm gonna get the vinyl for this one. But yeah, no, I think this one's real special. I think a plaque is definitely on the way, and we'll see what's more to come. There's definitely gonna be more, so I'm looking forward to just keep banging them out, and just keep getting more of these records and more plaques.
Now, you said more plaques. So you already got a wall full of plaques, Jerm?
I got a few plaques. I got a few plaques. Yeah, man, I got a plaque from the first COTI. I got a plaque with Dave East. And what else I got a plaque for? Nah, I think that's it. I think those are the only 2 plaques that I got.
Third one on the way, man.
Third one on the way. That's it.
And you gotta order yours for COTI3.
Facts. I didn't even know we can get a plaque for the COTI2.
Yeah, I got
You got a
mine
plaque
up.
You got one?
Yeah.
Say less. I got 2 on the way then.
Yeah, like you said, I like to appreciate you guys, all showing up, being a part of this monumental episode. Man, I want all you guys to come back solo-y. You're all welcome again. All you gotta do is hit the DM, make it happen, because I want to know more about the production skills and like where you guys started from now too. Obviously, we couldn't do it during this episode because we would be here for like a good, 4 hours, getting into it now too. But Fade, you anything you want to ask the guys if you here?
Oh man, definitely. It just seems like we got a hungry group right here. Everybody's running. I've gotten to check out, y'all social pages, and it's cool. The different kind of levels and willingness and humbleness that y'all are willing to work with. Still working with new artists, working with established artists, working with legends. And it just seems like with this group right here is very special, because I feel like with any one of y'all, some amazing, great things could just happen with a man in a New York minute. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this group right here, it got that like Team USA college, getting ready for the pros. Y'all there, y'all in the NBA. But it's like,
appreciate that, man.
I
Appreciate that.
For sure.
Maybe by last year could actually get the cold corner 3 out of Vegas, because we got, I can't believe we got out of those 3 before cold quarter 3.
Be patient.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That shit is coming, man.
Just wait. Just wait on it.
It's coming, man. Don't worry.
Everybody got their own individual now. Like I said, I appreciate all you guys for appearing on the show. Like to have you all back for a solo episode, man. So with that being said, man, this is a monumental episode right now. If you haven't heard Pieces of My Pain by Lloyd Banks, go check it out. Make sure you follow all of these producers, including Vidon and my guy Fade Reyes. The link and socials will be in the bottom. If you guys got websites or anything you guys want to promote, that was the time to give them out.
Yeah, y'all could definitely follow me. Get Cartoon.
Nah, I was just gonna say everything just Cartune Beatz, CARTUNEBEATZ. That's all my social. That's all my socials, and to all the other producers that's in here, and be down. I know he's not in here. Thank you guys, y'all. We did an incredible job on this album, and again, take some time to just kind of to realize the work that we put in, and then what we created with this album, because I've been listening and found it's being talked about in very, very high regard, and not just by just like fans. It's being talked about by a lot of people. They might not be like super outward with it, but we definitely did something special, and we all did that together. So y'all did y'all thing, and salute to y'all for that.
Yeah, salute to you, bro. Always.
Right.
All right, facts.
I love the camaraderie with the producers, because it's not like, yo, why'd you do that beat before me? Or Cartoon got more beats than all of you guys. That's what I like about you guys right now, because you guys show respect to one another now too. And it's very rare we get that in this cutthroat industry now too. So that just means there's more blessings coming to all 5 of you gents' way. Yo, Fade, my guy, yo, before we let you go, man, before we let these guys go, yo, let them know where they can find your podcast, man, because you're my OG in this, man. I'm 5, you 7 years in.
Hey, man, I was just right here, like I told my man Lo, I was just trying to be the Scottie Pippen right now. So, and also, I was a little in and out. I got my son right now with me, so it's a Saturday night. He's wired up. Just came from the cousin's house, so even a song like "Daughters," it's just even as having a son could just hit. I just want to ask Cartoon real quick, like, did you come up with the name LSD or was that dumb?
Nah, that was him. The name of that beat was actually Five Boroughs. And a quick story about that is that was probably like I'm pretty sure that was the last addition to COTI, because I don't even think he was gonna put that on there. I think I sent him the beat and he worked on it and he put like Vado on it, or he had his first verse and he was saying it's crazy. And I think he wanted to he's gonna put it on something else. I don't know if that was gonna be like a group project or like something else, but he was just like, nah, this came out like too crazy. So he was just like, I gotta add this to COTI3. So that was dope too. And the crazy thing is, that story with that beat is I had to resend that to him. It's a beat I sent to him and he liked a while back, and he was like, I'm definitely using it. But in the midst of like me sending, I just had to almost like to remind him. I was like, yo, like you still gonna use this beat? And it kind of like refreshed his memory. He was just like, oh yeah. And like I guess he cooked up to it like right away. But that's just like another producer tip too. Like sometimes you got to resend stuff because they listen to so many beats they could forget, or they could just it could kind of slip their mind. But every now and then definitely resend beats that you feel strongly about or that they say they feel strongly about.
I'm glad I asked about that real quick. Anytime a name catches my attention such as that, I'm like, okay, that studio set must have been fun. But but yeah, man, everybody, if you want to have a chance to just drop all of your information, I would love to chop it up. Again, salute to all of you guys on this success. As my man Haas, I think you mentioned, as your wife said, soak in this. So definitely bask in this moment. Coming from a fan, I was one of those kids that was telling other kids on the playground, I'm GUnit Junior, because I had the GUnit hat, the shoes. So I was one of those people that grew up. And to still hear this 20 some years later, that you guys were able to match up and really think it together. Because honestly, you listen to this from top to bottom, you could think that it's like just one producer. You know what I'm saying? And I know Cartoon got a lot of placements, but you could it's like everything was perfectly aligned right here. So enjoys this success, and it's definitely talked about in high regard. I mean, the circles I'm around, it's really buzzing. Like tracks are really, really buzzing. People don't know what their favorite track is. So
yeah, it's true.
That's hard. That's hard.
Well, like I said, Fade, I hope you get a chance to, interview all these guys solo-y too, man, because, like I said, I love the cast. I appreciate you joining me now, too. But, with that being said, you can find Fade's podcast at the bottom below. The link's in the bio. And you can also find all my guys' social medias in the description below. And if you're going to hit them for beats, they don't do them free. Send a bag.
That's a fact.
Prices had gone up.
Yesterday's price is not
today's price.
That part.
That being said, y'all have a good night, and I appreciate y'all doing this.